a very happy good evening. So this is Krishna Ma'am and we're talking about the story of life on earth, that's biology. So I'm really sorry for being a few minutes late because of the small glitch in the network. Hi W, a very happy good evening. So after a long time you're here, so I hope you guys are doing really well, and thank you so much for watching my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yeah, we had a small glitch in the technical background here. Yes, the class has started. So here we are in lecture 4 of human reproduction. So we have been talking about the male reproductive part. So we are done with the male reproductive part. So you have been asking me to give a recap. So I did so in the previous lecture. So we actually also started the female reproductive system. So we'll move forward with the female reproductive system today. So we'll finish off the female reproductive system. So we a pair of ovaries. We start off with the ducts. So today we're going to talk about the glands and the female external genitalia. And in the next class I'll be starting about gametogenesis. So we'll be talking about spermatogenesis and oogenesis in the next lecture. So that's an important part. So gametogenesis and spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So please make sure you do not miss the next lecture. That's very important. So now let's begin with what are we supposed to finish. Yeah, so we're going to start with part 4. So I've already given you enough introduction as to how the human reproduction happens. So what are the 7 stages in the human reproduction? So we have the male reproduction. So first you have the gametes getting formed. So once the gametes are formed in the respective reproductive system, so we have to make sure the gametes meet, right? So one gamete has to be motile, one is non-motile. So by the process of insemination they meet, and then you have the fertilization happening once the gamete meets. Once the fertilization happens, you have the formation of zygote. The zygote undergoes a series of divisions, so that is blastocyst, and then it gets implanted in the uterus, the uterine wall, the endometrium of the uterus, and then you have the embryonic development, which we call as gestation, which takes 9 months in humans. And then later you have, once the embryonic development is complete, so the child comes out, that is parturition, and then the mother has to breastfeed, that is lactation. So as per the contents here, so we are done with the male reproductive system. So today we'll be done with the female reproductive system. Alright. So this is a very important chapter with respect to your NEET as well as with respect to your CBSE. So if any student who's here in class 12 who has just entered class 12, so this is a very important chapter from your CBSE board point of view as well as from NEET point of view. Alright. So let's move forward. So I'll give you a quick recap of how did we start off with the female reproductive system. So here we go. So female reproductive system. So like I told you, a system means it will have 2 or more components, right? So here in the female reproductive part, so we have a pair of ovaries. So here ovaries are the primary sex organs. Then you have the accessory ducts, just like you had in the male. Then you have glands. So we have 2 glands here. So one is the Bartholin's gland, and the other one is you have a well-developed functional mammary gland, which also makes the female functionally reproductive. And the 4th one is we are going to talk about the female external genitalia. So we are actually done with these 2. So we'll be talking about the glands today. So I will give you a quick recap of these 2. So ovaries, a pair of ovaries. So ovaries are the primary sex organ in the female. So if you see the ovaries, so they are again well below the abdominal cavity. So this is the ovary, and you would have seen a picture like this. Right? So the ovary will be attached to the wall of the uterus and the abdominal wall via ligaments. So the ovary is made up of, the center portion of the ovary is stroma, and it is made up of follicles as well. So the stroma of the ovary is divided into the outer cortex and the inner medulla. Right? So now this is about the ovary, and the ovary produces 1 ovum during each menstrual cycle. So ova is plural and ovum is singular, right? So the female gamete is the ovum. So during every menstrual cycle 1 egg is produced. right? So this is about the ovaries. So now we talk about the axillary glands. So you can see a tube like this. This is a fallopian tube. So when I talk about accessory ducts, so ducts are nothing but passages, right? So from the ovary, so you have the fallopian tube. So the fallopian tube is also known as the oviduct. Okay, so this is also known as the oviduct. So after that it moves into the uterus. Then you have the cervix. Then the vagina. So then it moves out into the male external genitalia, but these are the ducts, the passage through which it passes. Alright, so your fallopian tube or the oviduct, as you can see, this is the fallopian tube or the oviduct from here to here. So your fallopian tube or your oviduct is divided into three parts in itself. The part of the fallopian tube that is very close to the ovary, so this portion is the first part. This is the second part and this is the third part. So here the first part is called as infundibulum. And number two, the second part is the ampulla. And the third one is your isthmus. So as you can see, infundibulum is very close to the ovary and it also has these finger-like structures. So these finger-like structures are called as fimbriae. So these finger-like structures are the ones which pick up the ovum from the ovary during each menstrual cycle. Alright, yes. So ampulla is the region where fertilization happens. And then you have isthmus. So isthmus is a very narrow portion that opens into the uterus. Yes ma'am, a very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So we are done with fallopian tube or isthmus and then it opens into the uterus. So uterus is made of three layers of tissues. So the outer layer is your perimetrium. The middle one is the myometrium. And the last one is the endometrium. So perimetrium, which is the outermost, it's a thin layer of tissue. Myometrium is what has smooth muscles that contracts during child delivery. So under the influence or under the stimulation of oxytocin by the posterior pituitary, that is neurohypophysis, the smooth muscles contract to deliver the baby. So the smooth muscles are present in the myometrium region. The endometrium is what degenerates and regenerates during the menstrual cycle. It degenerates and regenerates during the menstrual cycle. So if you remember, it is exactly here that we stopped the entire lecture. Yes, a very happy good evening. Hi Event Horizon. So I hope you guys are doing really well. So thank you so much for joining my session. So please do like, share and subscribe. Oh, it's not really visible. Alright, so it is just a revision. So I have written perimetrium. So perimetrium is very thin layer. So the middle one is myometrium. So that is made of smooth muscles. And then you have endometrium. So endometrium is the endomost. So that degenerates and regenerates during the menstrual cycle. So I made a point not right there, which I myself is hiding. Okay. So we'll move forward. So we are supposed to talk about the female external genitalia. So I hope the image on this slide is clear. Yes. Alright. So mons pubis, so just like the male external genitalia was only one part, that is the penis, and it was made up of a type of tissue for erection. So if you look at the female genitalia, so you have a lot of members here. So you have mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and then clitoris. So you have all these portions present, right? So if you look into this picture, so you can see clitoris. Okay, so we start with mons pubis. So this region is the mons pubis. Okay, so mons pubis is a layer where you have pubic hair, and it is made up of some amount of adipose tissue. Okay, so that is the mons pubis. It actually protects the uterus part of the, it actually protects the vaginal part of the female genitalia. So then you have the labia majora. So labia majora is paired. So if you see, you have a labia majora this side so labia majora is right beneath the mons pubis, so that is this structure. Okay, so this structure is your labia majora. Labia minora is paired and it is right below the labia majora. So you can see one here and one here. So labia minora is paired. So it is on either side, right below the labia majora. So before we talk about hymen, we'll talk about clitoris. At the point where the pair of labia minora joins, that is your clitoris. Can you see this point? So this is clitoris. So hymen is a membrane that covers the vaginal cavity, you can say. So hymen is the opening of the vaginal cavity. So hymen is a small membrane. So sometimes hymen is actually thought to define virginity, but actually not. So hymen can break when the female is not reproductively healthy, when there is no proper menstrual hygiene, when a female falls down, in a lot of cases. So these are the features, or these are the parts of your female external genitalia. Alright, so now we go to the last part, that is the glands of the female genital tract. Okay, so I have it written here. So mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue that is covered by skin and pubic hair. So that is the function of mons pubis. So labia majora, it's a fleshy fold of tissue that extends right down the mons pubis. So mons pubis was on top and right down you had the labia majora. Right, so it extends down the labia, it extends down the mons pubis and it surrounds the vaginal opening. Then you have labia minora. So these are paired folds of tissue right under the labia majora. So the opening of the vagina is partially covered by the membrane, that is the hymen. So hymen is usually torn during the first coitus, but it can also be torn when a person suddenly falls down, when there's a sudden shock, or during the use of vaginal tampon. It's a type of menstrual hygiene. When the person is active in sports, sometimes a female does not even develop hymen, so that can also be the case. So sometimes hymen also persists after coitus, sometimes it does not break at all. So it differs from one female to the other. Alright. Yes, sir. A very happy good morning, good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture today. So please do like, share and subscribe. So then you have clitoris. It's a tiny finger-like structure. It lies at the upper junction between the pair of labia minora during the urethral opening. So these are the parts of the female external genitalia. So here you have a clear picture. So I hope this picture I'm not hiding it. So you can see the mons pubis. So you can see the labia minora. So minora is paired on both the sides. Labia majora is one single one, and clitoris is the junction between the pair of labia minora. Alright, so then we move forward. So we're going to talk about the glands of the female reproductive system. So we have Bartholin's gland. So Bartholin's gland are homologous to the Cowper's gland of the male. So in male we read about three glands: seminal vesicle, prostate gland, Cowper's gland, or bulbourethral gland. So very similar to the bulbourethral gland, in females you have the Bartholin's gland. So let's see what is the function. So every gland secretes something, right? So does this gland. So it secretes a slimy alkaline watery fluid. So it makes the alkaline media in the vaginal passage. So what is the function of bulbourethral gland in male? So it actually clears the acidic passage of urine in the urethra, and it makes sure the semen can flow through, because semen is acidic. The same function is done here. So your Bartholin's gland is a pair on one side. So it secretes its secretion into the upper vestibule. So it is located on either side of the vagina. When the female experiences the sexual pressure, it secretes its slimy secretion into the vestibule. Alright. So you have the Bartholin's gland here, and you have the ducts. They are mostly exocrine glands, so that is why they have ducts. So they are present on either side of the vagina. Alright. So fine. So we move forward. The next one is the mammary gland. So functional mammary gland, it's a characteristic of all female mammals. So they are paired structure, that is breast. Okay, so they are made up of glandular tissues and a variable amount of fat that is present. So just like your testis was divided into compartments and lobes, so is each breast. So each breast has 15 to 20 mammary lobes, and they contain clusters of cells called as alveoli, and they open into mammary tubules open to mammary ducts, and then they open to form the lactiferous ducts. So if you can see the diagram, so it's a diagram that is taken right from your NCERT. So if you have your NCERT NCERT open also you can look into, but I'll explain. So we have a pair of mammary glands of breast. So each breast, so it has 15 to 20 lobules, so which we call it as the mammary lobules. So each lobule has a cluster of cells, and these cells are called as alveoli. Like, so this is one lobule, this is one lobule, this is one lobule, and each of them has a cluster of cells like this. So these cluster of cells are the alveoli. So now they have a particular duct. So now all the duct join together, right? So all the ducts of the alveoli, when they join together, so that's the mammary tubule. So the mammary tubule joins to form the mammary duct. So first of all the alveoli, they should all join together. All the ducts of alveoli should join together, that is mammary tubule. Then all the lobes, the tubes from all the lobes should join together, that is your mammary duct, which opens to form the lactiferous duct. So if you look into the picture, so you have lobes. This is one lobe. From here to here it's one lobe, and then you have the other lobe. So you have cluster of cells, and each one has a duct, so that is your mammary tubule. Then everything joins together, that is the mammary duct, which opens into the lactiferous duct. The mammary duct is swollen at the base, so that is the ampulla. So in biology, if you have a swollen duct, that is ampulla, right? So with this we come to the end of the female reproductive system. So we are done talking about the design of the male and the female reproductive system. So we are left with gametogenesis and the further process of reproduction. So in the next class, that's on Friday, I'll be teaching about gametogenesis. So we'll start off with spermatogenesis. So it's a very, very important topic from all point of exam. So it's a must that you watch the lecture. So I hope this short lecture videos are very helpful for you to replay it and rewatch it later. And if any of you feel I'm a bit fast with my English or a bit fast with my concepts, so please text to me in the chat box. I'll slow down and I'm ready to explain n number of times. So I hope you guys are back into picture, back with a lot of energy and spirit, because your NEET exam is around the corner, it's nearing. So as of now, we do not know the confirmed date, but yes, so we have rumors that the NEET exam will be so on. But from a student side, it's good that you start preparing, so that is the most important thing. So alright, so we'll stop here for today, and if you genuinely liked my way of teaching, so please do like, share and subscribe, so let your friends, your juniors, your siblings know about it. So thank you once again. So I'll meet you on Friday, so until then have a great time. So this is me signing off, so take care and bye.